بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today is the 8th lecture in our series of Tajweed al-Quran in the English language, and we are continuing our discussion on Makhaarij al-Huruf. So we discussed yesterday, not yesterday actually, because I recorded the lecture 2 days ago. Anyway, we discussed in the previous lecture that the Makhaarij al-Amma, the main or general Makhaarij, al-Makhaarij al-Amma, they are total 5 in number. First of them is al-Jawf, then al-Halq, al-Lisan, al-Shafatan, and al-Khayshum. And I've already explained what these mean. So we also discussed the first al-Makhraj al-Am, which was al-Jawf, and we discussed that there are 3 letters that are pronounced or produced from this makhraj, and they are a, u, e, which is an alif preceded by a fatha, a wa preceded by a dhamma, and a ya preceded by a kasra, and they are known as huruful maddi wal leen, or they are also known as huruful jawfiyah or huruful hawaiyah. And I explained the reason for all of these names. The second makhraj, which is from the general makharij, is al-halq. Al-halq is further divided into 3 portions. The first one is aqsa al-halq, the second one is wasat al-halq, and the third one is adna al-halq. I'll explain in a minute what these 3 terms mean. But before that, what is al-halq? Al-halq is basically your throat. So the throat is the portion which starts from your uvula, and uvula is the portion of that meat which is hanging from your throat, the beginning of the throat, the end of your mouth, you can say. There's a meat like portion which is hanging, that is your uvula, and from the uvula to the larynx, that is your throat, which we are concerned with in tajweed. I'm talking about tajweed. Maybe scientifically the throat goes a little bit below the larynx or something like that, but we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with what the throat represents in tajweed, what we're talking about here. And generally as well, this portion is included in the throat, but I'm saying that maybe the throat extends a little bit further, but we are only concerned until the larynx, and larynx is your voice box, the portion of the throat from where your voice generates, and that is normally the lowest portion of the throat. So that is normally known as the lowest portion of the throat. Yeah. So coming to aqsa al-halq, aqsa means the farthest away. So when we say that this portion of the throat is the farthest, what is it far away from? So we're talking about the mouth here. So the point of reference is your mouth or your lips, you can say. So the portion or the part of the throat which is the farthest away from your mouth, that is known as aqsa al-halq. Now aqsa al-halq has 2 different letters which are pronounced from that place, and they are al-hamza and al-ha. So the first letter is al-hamza and the second one is al-ha. Both of these are pronounced from your aqsa al-halq, and they are also known as al-harfain al-hanjarayain. Al-harfain al-hanjarayain. So the reason they're known as by this, by the way, the hanjara is the larynx. The hanjara is the larynx. So they're known as al-harfain al-hanjarain because they're pronounced from that place, which is the farthest away from your mouth, aqsa al-halq. And one more thing which I want to mention regarding the pronunciation of these 2 words is that whenever you pronounce al-ha, remember that try to take your voice as deep as you can. What I'm trying to say is that most of the time you see people, they're pronouncing this letter as ha, ha, like this. So for example, they will say Allahumma, Allahumma, and whereas this is not the correct way to pronounce this letter, because it does not make the sound of the word very clear. I mean, the sound when it's being used in a word, if you pronounce it without that deepness in your voice, it will not sound proper. Ha. For example, if you say Allahumma, Allahumma, so you see, it does not sound like it's a ha at all. So the proper way to say is Allahumma, Allahumma. And remember, whenever this letter comes in the Quran, you're supposed to pronounce it like ha, not ha, not ha. So ha is, it doesn't make the sound clear. So try to take your voice as deep as you can, and that will be the proper place of pronunciation of this word, inshallah, this letter. The second portion of the throat is wasatul halq. Wasatul halq, as the name implies, is the middle of the throat, and that is the portion from where two more letters are pronounced, and they are al-ain and al-ha. So ain and ha are pronounced from the middle of your throat, known as wasatul halq. That portion is above the portion of the aqsa al-halq, and it is nearer to the mouth. These are also known as al-harfain al-halqiyain or bal'umiyain. Bal'umiyain because another name of al-halq is al-bal'um, and therefore these letters are known as al-harfain al-halqiyain or al-harfain al-bal'umiyain. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce, but yeah. And the third portion of the throat is adna al-halq, and that is the portion which is the nearest to your mouth. That portion starts immediately after your uvula, and from this place two more letters are pronounced, which are al-ghain and al-kha. And al-ghain and kha are also known as al-harfain al-lahwiyain or lahwiyain because they are very near to the uvula, which is known as the laha in the Arabic language. So generally these three makhaarij and the six letters, they're generally known as al-huruf al-halqiyah, but the specific names are what I mentioned before to you right now. Imam Abdul Jazari rahimahullah mentions this in his poem, and he says thumma li aqsa al-halqi hamzun ha'u, hamzun ha'u, thumma li waslihi fa'aynun ha'u, adnahu ghaynun kha'uha. So he says that then the aqsa al-halq starts, and from there hamzun ha'u. So hamza meaning hamza and ha. Thumma li waslihi, then for the middle portion we have fa'aynun ha'u, ayn and ha, adnahu ghaynun kha'uha. So the adna portion of the halq has ghayn and kha. So these six letters are known as al-huruf al-halqiyah. The reason that the voice comes out, the way the voice is produced from our mouth is because the breath is constricted a bit when you are going to pronounce these letters. Your breath is constricted a bit, and then that air, when it comes out of your mouth, it basically strikes the throat, and that striking of as we discussed in the previous lectures, then when two things collide with each other or they slide against each other, voice is produced. So the way voice is produced over here in the throat is that the air, it coincides or it collides with your throat in a constricted way, and that produces this sound or these letters. So again, they are a, ha, a, ha, gha, kha, hamza, ha, ayn, ha, ghayn, kha, starting from aqsa halq coming to the adna halq. Hamza, ha, ayn, ha, ghayn, kha, the huruf of the halq, al-huruf al-halqiyah. The third main makhraj we have is al-lisan, and al-lisan is further divided into 4 different portions. Those 4 different portions have 10 different makharij, and those 10 different makharij have 18 different letters. So we have 4 things over here. One is the al-makhraj al-am, which is the main makhraj, that is al-lisan, our tongue. Then al-lisan is divided into 4 different categories, 4 different portions. That is the second thing. Then those 4 portions are further divided into 10 different makharij. That is the third thing. And then those 10 different makharij are further divided into 18 different letters. So we have 4 things over here: the main makharaj, then the portions of that makharaj, then the specific makharij in those portions, and then the letters that come out of those specific makharij. So al-lisan is divided into 4 categories. The first one is aqsa al-lisan. As the name explains itself, it is the portion of the tongue which is the farthest away from the mouth, and that is near the base of the tongue, where your tongue is connected to your mouth. From here we have 2 makharij over here, and 2 harf over here as well, 2 letters over here as well. They are al-qaf and al-kaf. And then we have wasat al-lisan. As the name implies, it is the middle portion of the tongue. And over here we have only 1 makhraj, but we have 3 huruf. We have 3 letters. They are al-jim, wal-sheen, wal-ya. Then we have hafatul lisan, which is the side of the tongue. We have 2 makharij over here as well, and we have 2 huruf over here as well. They are al-lam, wal-dad. Then we have taraful lisan, and taraful lisan is the front portion of the tongue, near the tip of the tongue plus a little bit to the side of the tongue. That is the taraful lisan. So the taraful lisan has 5 different makharij, and it has 11 different letters. So a total of 10 different makharij, 2 in the aqsa halq, 1 in the wasatul halq, 2 in the hafatul not the halq, the lisan, 2 in the aqsa al-lisan, 1 in the wasatul lisan, 2 in the hafatul lisan, and 5 in the taraful lisan. And similarly we have 18 letters, 2 in aqsa lisan, 3 in wasatul lisan, 2 in hafatul lisan, and 11 in taraful lisan. So the first specific makhraj is aqsa al-lisan. Aqsa al-lisan, the first portion. Aqsa al-lisan has 2 specific makharij, and the first of them is for the letter al-qaf. Al-qaf is pronounced from what is between your tongue, your aqsa al-lisan, and the portion opposite to the tongue from the upper palate of your mouth. Al-hanak al-a'la. Al-hanak is basically, you can say your jaw completely. If you talk about it generally, al-hanak is your jaw. It is the inside portion of your jaw, which is inside your mouth, either on the top or the bottom. But in tajweed, we will only deal with al-hanak al-a'la, the top portion of the mouth, your palate, because the air or the voice or the wind, you can say the breath comes out of your mouth from above the tongue, not below it, not from below it. So therefore, what we will deal with mainly is, in fact only, is al-hanak al-a'la, the upper portion of the mouth. Now the upper portion of the mouth, when it when it collides with when the tongue collides with the upper portion of the mouth, it produces the sound like aqq, and this is the very last portion of my tongue. Aqq, iq, uq, qa, qi, qu. So this is the sound of qaf. And one more thing about al-hanak is that hanak is divided into 2 different categories as well, meaning your palate is divided into 2 categories. One is the hard portion. The hard portion is the portion which starts immediately from above the tip of your tongue, and it goes back until you reach a point where you start to feel softness in your palate. So the soft portion is the one which is known as the khalfi portion of the hanak, which is the khalfi meaning behind. And the amami portion, the front portion of the hanak al-amami, that is the portion which is starting from above the tip of your tongue. And if you notice that if you go just slightly behind the tip of your tongue, the portion above that is like a cave, right? And a cave in Arabic is also known as ghar, like it is known as ghar in Urdu as well. So this portion is known as gharul hanak. I'm explaining this name because maybe I think so this is used in one of the makharij which come in tarf al-lisan as well. Nevertheless, this portion is known as gharul hanak, which is the hard portion of your palate, and then the soft portion of the palate is from where you pronounce your qaf with the aqsa al-lisan. Now the same aqsa al-lisan, when you go slightly towards your mouth, a little bit towards your mouth, and it goes and coincides with the palate, the hanak, but the portion which is hard and the portion which is soft at the same time. So it is somewhere between the line which separates the hard and the soft portion. Your tongue will just go and collide over there, and it will produce the sound of ak, ik, uk. So this is the sound of al-kaf. Now the difference between al-kaf and qaf, as I've explained before, is that number one, the difference in the makharij. The second difference is the difference in the sifat. But these differences in sifat will only be you can say clear to you when you study the sifat in detail. And even, for example, that how can a single makharij have two different sounds coming out from it when your tongue is going and touching it in the same place? How can two different sounds be produced? We will study why these two different sounds are produced, because there is a difference in the characteristics of the letters being pronounced from that same makhraj. Imam Ibn al-Jazari rahimahullah gives an idea over here to this. He puts it in his poem like this: وَالْقَافُ أَقْصَى اللِّسَانِ فَوْقُ ثُمَّ الْكَافُ أَسْفَلُ. So again, I'll just read that. وَالْقَافُ, meaning the qaf, أَقْصَى اللِّسَانِ فَوْقُ, meaning the aqsa lisan with the upper portion of the tongue, the mouth. ثُمَّ الْكَافُ أَسْفَلُ, meaning then the letter kaf, asfalu means a little bit lower or towards the bottom, meaning lower from the root of the tongue towards the tip of the tongue, towards the mouth. So that is known as that is the makhraj of al-kaf. These two letters are also known as harfain lahwiyain. Now they are known as harfain lahwiyain because they are also pronounced very closely from very close places to the uvula. So the uvula, due to its nearness to these two letters, gives them the name al-harfain al-lahwiyain. Now al-harfain al-lahwiyain, we said, is also the name of ghain and kha according to some scholars. But generally ghain and kha are included in al-huruf al-halqiyah, and this kaf and qaf, they are generally named as al-huruf al-lahwiyah, because the main category over there is al-halq, and therefore they are already included in the halq, so no need to name those two letters separately, ghain and kha. Whereas these two letters, kaf and qaf, they have a separate makhraj of their own, which is like aqsa al-lisan, and it's not included with any other you can say letters which are close to it, like ghain and kha have ayn and ha close to them, and then they have other letters close to them which are a portion of the halq. Nevertheless, that is just a you can say a difference in naming. It's not a very big deal of how you name them. The main thing is how you pronounce them. I keep repeating this again and again. Even if you don't know the tajweed rules, that does not make any difference if you can recite the Quran properly. That is our aim, that is our goal. Therefore, keep revising and keep reciting the Quran at least 10 to 15 minutes every day, with slow recitation, with tartil, with all the ahkam al-tajweed, and taking care of all the mistakes that we have already discussed as well. And may Allah allow us to act upon what we learn, and inshallah next time we will study the remaining portions of the tongue, and if we cannot finish them, we will at least try to cover wasat al-lisan and the hafatul lisan, because that requires a lot of practice. Hafatul lisan, which is the makhraj al-dad, requires a lot of practice. In fact, it is so hard that it is said that Arabic is the language of the dad. Inshallah, we'll see when it comes, and hopefully it will be easy for you as well. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.